I can't tell you how many times I dropped the weight on the floor. Dropped the weight and just tossed it off my back. Fell down. Got up again and continued the set. You gotta be willing to fail. If you can't fail, what I learned in the gym is you gotta go out there and fail. You gotta go out there and fall down. Most people who've won big have failed big. Okay? You know, see, even you know.
Yeah.
And what I promised myself as a little boy, I said I can never leave the gym knowing I have 5% left. That 5% is magic. That's the magic place where very few people go. You can go there. I'm giving you permission to go there. We'll have people behind you. If you fall down and drop the weight on the floor, who cares? Who cares? But if you make it, I care. I want that. I want you to fail, and I want you to get up and do it again. The same thing in life is the same thing here. If you can do this, you can do anything. Anything. Right now, you're 5% away. 5% away from being a champion. Made a promise to this young Tom Platz. I said, if you're gonna do this bodybuilding thing, if it's this important to you, you cannot be a failure. You cannot leave the gym ever a failure. You have to give it everything you got. And when you think you're done, there's 5 more reps. Even when you do 5 reps, there's probably 5 more reps yet. And I told myself, I have to give it this much. I just can't be, because I can't accept the fact. I cannot live with the fact that Tom Platz is a loser. That disturbs me so much. And I hate that statement so much. I will do anything close to death to be a winner. Okay? So when I squat 50 reps back in the old days for 405, I probably had 30 in me. Probably had 25 in me, but somehow, by some act of God, a miracle, I got 50 reps, okay? But it was a belief system that I cannot live with myself. I cannot look in the mirror. I can't walk down the street going, I'm a failure. Oh, I would rather die. I'm serious. I would rather die than be a failure. Life should not exist, at least for me, being a failure. Go out there and fail. Go out there and fail miserably. Drop the weight on the ground, toss the weight, but achieve failure. Achieve failure. If you can do that, you can also win. If you can fail, you can also win. And all winners have failed. That's the goal here today, that last 5%. Now, the only place to go from failure is to win. You have to achieve failure. You have to take it that far. Nobody wants to go that far. It's too scary. But you know something? I got news for you. That's where winning is. It always has been. Nothing's changed since the 70s. Nothing. Except people train not as hard. When you know too much, it's like a child. A child will do anything. A child will skateboard off of crazy heights and do crazy stuff and do flips, you know? When you get older, you go, oh God, I could get hurt.
Yeah.
So you start limiting yourself, how far you want to go. But you know, you have to go through this time where you don't go to failure. You get out of shape, so to speak. The only way to get in shape is to get out of shape. The only way to go to failure is not go to failure. You know the difference. It's always success follows risk. Success follows risk. Right now, we're like looking for success up here, and the risk is like teasing. If the risk is ever too high and the success is down here, forget about it. But the risk follows. The risk follows the opportunity. More opportunity, more risk. If you don't take that last 5%, it's a knock on somebody else's door, I guarantee you. There's only a certain window of opportunity for success. This is your opportunity of a lifetime. Take the 5%. Hold the 5% distance. It's scary as all head. It will drive you to the ground. You'll fail a few times. You'll fall on your face. Get up. Keep getting up. Keep getting up. If you don't, you have to be happy for the rest of your life. If you don't take the last 5%, you have to be happy the rest of your life knowing it went to somebody else's door and knocked on their door, and you could have been that guy. It's up to you.
When you start doubting yourself, that's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan. I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. And it's very important to understand that we function better if there is no safety net, because plan B becomes a safety net. It says that if I fail, then I fall and I get picked up and I have something else there that will protect me. And that's not good, because people perform better when there's no safety net. People perform better in sports and everything else if you don't have a plan B. I'm telling you, I've never ever had a plan B. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get in the show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it. It is very dangerous to have a plan B, because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. And one of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is because they are worried about failing. What is if I fail, then I don't have anything else? Well, let me tell you something. Don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail. What makes you sometimes not be successful is your fear of failure. And so as soon as you become kind of friends with failure, and you say to yourself, wait a minute, Michael Jordan talks about he became the greatest basketball player because he missed his 5,000 shots. And he screwed up 280 some games and all of this. And that's what made him the greatest basketball player. So it's failure where we learn really the most. And in bodybuilding, it's built in that you do the exercise, like you say, until you fail. In weightlifting, you go and lift until you fail, because it's the only way you know how much you can lift, is if you go all out and always lift beyond of what you can lift. And then you know exactly what you can do. I missed the 500-pound bench press at least 10 times in different competitions, but the 11th time I did it. So I didn't feel like I was a failure. I just felt like I have to train more. And so I think the key thing is to tell people, don't be afraid of failure, because it makes you kind of like freeze and not make a move forward. Be friends with that and understand that from failure we can learn more, and therefore let's go all out and just feel free of that and not be worried and afraid all the time. I've had many movies go in the toilet. I've lost bodybuilding competitions and powerlifting competitions and all that stuff. So I had plenty of failures. It's always important to bring that up, because people should know that you never will be able to go through life without failures. Failures make us learn. Failures make you stronger. Pain makes you stronger. And your mind is no different than the muscle. So the muscle grows by, pushing it and going through pain and through discomfort. Well, the same is with your head. That if you really want to grow as a person, and if you want to get tough, you got to go through pain. You should not shy away. This is a lot of times today with today's youth. When they talk about, the boys are having a problem, the girls having a problem, this is a problem, there's a problem. Everyone has a problem. It's like they're getting softer. And they're not willing anymore to kind of take themselves through this pain period and through the discomfort. Everyone wants to be in comfort. We all lose. We all have losses. This is okay. And this is why I say, don't be worried about losing, because when you're afraid of losing, then you get frozen. You get stiff. You're not relaxed. You got to be, in order to perform well in anything, if it's in boxing or if it is on your job or with your thinking, is only happening when you relax. So relax. It's okay to fail. Let's just go all out and give it everything that you got. That's what it is all about. So don't be afraid to fail. I failed in bodybuilding. I lost bodybuilding competitions. I lost powerlifting competitions. I lost weightlifting competitions. I had movies that went in the toilet and that were terrible and got the worst reviews. We all fail. It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser. And winners will fail and get up, fail and get up, fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner. That is a winner.